Right, good afternoon guys, my name is Vin. Thank you for being here. What are you guys doing here? You guys should be out having fun at the lagoon on the Saturday. So just a bit about myself, I'm Vin. I'm a Google developer expert on web technology. Personally, I'm also a software engineer where I run a platform for artisans where we help art professionals to create, showcase and sell their artworks per se, right? But today I just want to share a little bit of concept of an idea with you guys. How many of you guys are familiar with Chrome extensions? Chrome extension? Yes, good. So what do you guys use the Chrome extension for? AirDrop. Wait, you mean farming AirDrop, right? No? You mean like AirDrop, file AirDrops? Oh, AdBlock, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of like native crypto background, so we farm AirDrop with extensions as well, right? Anyway, great. So there are many great use cases with Chrome extensions, but today we'll just talk a little bit about it. Just for a little bit of numbers to begin with, in the past years, the numbers of Chrome extensions has some form of AI in it has increased tremendously, doubling by the years. And early this year, at least 10% of the Chrome extensions in the Chrome Web Store now is AI related somehow. You have some form of AI and whatnot. And I think it's very natural because in this conference, I think you guys will saw a few AI topics and all. So it's really only natural. And that's largely owed to a few reasons. Number one being the advancements of large language models. For example, we start to have multimodality. Almost every single models can take in input in form of text, in form of audio, in form of images, right? And then we also have more and more advanced reasoning capability. We also have more efficient inferencing, for example, with mixture of experts and all that. So it becomes natural in our life, and then that also drives the growth of the Chrome extension like naturally. And secondly, on top of that, Google has also announced this thing called a Chrome built-in AI APIs. Right, what it essentially is that it allows you to run a Google Gemini Nano, a small LLM models on the user device. So we don't have to provide the models either on the cloud or on the edge for the users, right? So all of this adds up together, combined with Chrome extension, with the ability to help you to customize your browsing experience and also optimize your browsing experience with the help of advanced AI. It's only natural that a lot of things can be achieved. And my goal today, these 30 minutes I'm going to spend with you today, is to explore with you a few potentials of stuff that we can do together, and hopefully give you an idea you can maybe start a new startups with Chrome extension to begin with, right? So before I talk about AI, let's talk about Chrome extension first. Chrome extension is essentially one of the simplest things to build. It's basically HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, right? Any one of you are web developers here? Web developers, web developers here. Solid? Like 5%? Yeah. So if you are a web developer, you basically know how to build a Chrome extensions, right? You just have use standard web technologies and access with the Chrome extension API. So this is, and the best thing of it is all of these things can operate entirely without a web server. Your Chrome extension doesn't have to connect to web server if you need it to. And then if you can build it for yourself, you can use it locally, so you don't have to share with your friends. Or if you want to distribute it globally, you can also publish it and distribute it through the Google Chrome Web Store, right? So that's great. Now, as I was saying, Google has actually announced this thing called built-in APIs. Built-in AI APIs is actually a set of functions, low-level API that lets you make inferencing requests through the browser directly. So you can do prompting, writing, or translating. Most of them is actually live in the version 138 onwards. Now it's 142, I think. So 138 onwards, you already have access to prompting API. So this is really great because this allows you to access LLMs locally without even any internet connections, limiting the network layers altogether. And yeah, so from 138 onwards and stuff, you can check out this more information on the website. But more importantly, I think all the talks are really boring, and I felt like you guys just want to sleep already. So let's take a look at some demo so we can have more things to see, right? Okay, right here. So the first thing that I wanted to share is a Chrome extensions that allow us to use the LLM to extract information from a website directly. For example, earlier I went to this Google I/O conference in China, in Shanghai. So we have this website. Now imagine if every time you go to a website, you wanted to participate in this thing, you want to create a calendar. So you create a calendar, fill in the date, time, and venue and stuff. It's very cumbersome and very slow, right? What if you can just drag these informations and right-click and create a calendar event? So it will take some time because it still needs the LLM to digest the information and call the API and create for you. So you can see Google I/O Connect, date, time, and everything, and venue, everything is filled up for you automatically. All of these things can be done without you still need internet connections to make a request to Google Calendar, but all of this inferencing happens just now happens directly on the user's browser without making any request to any OpenAI endpoints or any cloud providers. So let's take a quick look at how these things happen. It's really very simple. So first of all, what you do is that you create a listener, basically a callback, to tell the browser that, look, I wanted to create a context menu. Context menu are the menus that when you right-click on something, it has a menu, right? That menu is called a context menu. So you can register your own custom context menu by adding a context menu creations. And then the context you want to have for this case is selection. Selection means to say whenever users select something, this context menu can come out. If you don't select anything, this context menu will not come out, right? So, and then the next thing you do is essentially just register on a click event. So whenever the user click on the menu, we will be able to get the information from the browser to say, these are the selected text. And since we already have all the selected text, what's natural next is very simple. Basically, we just use the selected text, ingest it to our local LLM, the Gemini Nano, and let it extract key information in a structured format that we want. For example, I want it to have title, date, venue, and all that kind of stuff. And the LLM process it and then returns to you with the output in form of JSON, and then you can just create the calendars and call the APIs to create calendar. That's simple. So all these things, it's really helpful. I imagine these are really helpful stuff. And it can all happen very fast without having to go through the complex back end to process the information. So these are really good example of a use case driven AI. So use case driven AI essentially means to say not your AI chatbot. Because every other AI you see is a chatbot, right? But a lot of time AI happens also behind the scenes, specifically based on your use case. So in this case, this is a good example of use case driven AI. And it also integrate your product, in this case, and integrate Google Calendar into the browser directly. So it helps you to extend your product functionality and provide convenience for the users. And as mentioned earlier, the best part of this is this whole thing is entirely client-side. You don't send the user's information to any server at all. So to your own server or to whichever server. So it's entirely private and secure in that sense. And it's very important we think about this because imagine, as a Chrome extension, you have access to the user's very sensitive information. For example, browser history. I can tell you all the men don't let you see their browser history one. So also they can access to information like bookmarks, your tags, and all that kind of stuff, right? So these things are rather sensitive to the users, and if you can assure the users that this information are not being sent outside of the browser, sent to any other server, it gives a lot more guarantee or backings to the users, yes, assurance to the users. So as we mentioned just now, the all extensions is already announced in Google I/O and is already live, and now also live already is that this Google AI, these built-in APIs, the models now support multimodal as well. That means to say the models also can accept image. Remember just now the calendar we have to select the text and create calendar, right? But what if when you go to a website, the entire calendar or whatever, it's just a poster of an image, you have no text to select. So this now this thing can be solved very easily with because you can also take the image as an input to the models, so the models can also process and also inference the output for you. Another example I wanted to show is called Audio Scribe. This is also very interesting. So imagine in this case, a lot of time when you go to, when you're working in your meeting, for example, and then you have messages coming in, and your friends love to send voice messages. And then in the meeting you cannot listen to voice messages, but what if it's important? You need to know what's going, what they are saying, right? So in this case, we can actually make use of the Chrome extension and also the multimodality of Gemini Nano on the browser to help us to process the audio. In this case, let me show this extension, for example. Now, so this is what you'll see. It's not loading. This 1 minute. Yes. Okay. We'll let it run. So we'll let it load for a bit. So what happens is that whenever an image comes in, and whenever an audio comes in, it will actually always go through this method called, sorry, let me save this again. Yeah. So whenever an audio comes in, you can see there's this audio come in. The browser will intercept the audio and then ingest it and then infer the text for it. So without even having to go through to click the file, we can already output the audio in text for you. So in this case, just you can see this example.
Hey, how's it going? Have you got time for a quick call?
So it's exactly what it has translated in this case.
No problem, we can talk later. Wait, did you really just listen to my message during your meeting?
So in this case, how this is done is also not very complex. In Chrome extensions, you have this ability to inject something we call a content strip into a website, any website that user allows you to do. So some of the extension request access to all websites. In this case, you probably want to, but you can also just specify what kind of matches that your content script will match and then only injects. For example, if you want to do for web WhatsApp, you can do also. So once it matches ready, what it does is that it will actually inject a file to the document start, and that file is called a bridge.js. And what it does is that it actually overrides the existing create object URL and then create a custom object URL, essentially creating a middleware in between. And this middleware, what it does is that before creating the object, actually creating the object URL, we check the information and use window.post. Sorry, my son has gone messed up. But what it essentially does is that it calls the windows.post message. What it does is that it actually posts a message from the browser page to your extensions. So your extension can intercept the object URL itself. So with this object URL, your Chrome extension can pass this audio file directly into the LLMs, and then the LLM will process it, output it, and then you just show it to your user. That's simple. So only with Chrome extension, you have the ability to intercept content of the user's websites and whatnot. So this is a very solid case that you can integrate your products into the browser. For example, if you are WhatsApp, you can actually use the Chrome extension to create this product. If not, you can also use it for many other cases. It basically helps you to enhance the user experience for the existing website. Like for example, WhatsApp is great, but if you have this thing, it will make it much better, right? Yeah. And then we have seen how it works with text. We have seen how it works with audio, and of course, it will definitely be able to work with images as well. So one of the examples, the calendar we see just now, if you make it to images, it will work also. But in this case, we will use another example. The hottest topic this week is probably one of our dear friends is coming to town. So I'm just going to use his image. So what we do is that, for example, right click and then you can see generate alt text. It will be able to use the message. You can see so far the alt text already generated for you. A man in dark suit sits at the desk holding a pen and looking directly at the viewer. The background shows a room with ornate features, furnitures and framed pictures. So all these are very helpful tools for you to do whatever you want. If you are a developer, you want to do alt text, you're lazy to do alt text for all your images, you can do this, or I mean any kind of solutions you want. But the best part what if the user is from different language, right? For example, in this case, if you do Mandarin Chinese, it will also quickly translate this whole thing for you to that specific language. And all of this happen, as I mentioned just now, happens locally. None of this information is actually sent to a backend or any edge server at all, because your browser has got this LLM models for you, right? So how it works, again, very simple. We create a context menu, but this time instead of selections, the context we want is image. That means to say whenever you right click on an image, you have this context menu called alt text come out. And then with every time the image come in, you'll also be able to intercept the image, do the same thing, pass it to the models, the model process it, output whatever you want it to do for you. So this is, for example, the prompts that we actually send into to your local models, right? So yeah, so I just want to take a moment to explain to you how this built-in AI works, right? So it's essentially a 2 gig models that will be installed on first request by the users. When users wanted to say, hey, I want to use these features, then it will prompt the users to install the Gemini Nano model. Gemini Nano model is one of the smallest model, 2 gig size, installed into the browser. Once it's installed, it will be accessible and usable by any other websites or any other Chrome extensions. So in this case, download once, used many times by every other website, right? So if you're interested, I can show you another example. So this is our platform, essentially the dashboard. So imagine as a gallery holder, every day I have to upload a lot of artworks, for example. I will maybe have like couple of hundreds to upload. But the thing is, it's very difficult for me to categorize like the artwork medium, material, style, and whatnot. Imagine if I have to do this hundreds of times. It's very messy. But what if I can just get AI to do this for me? But because we are not able to send these huge images to the server every single time for every file, right? So what you do is that it uses the local built-in AI to automatically classify all these things for you. It may not work as like the most accurate one, but it helps you to resolve the first layer of problems, and then you can look around and fine tune it. It solves a lot of your problems. And because we eliminate the network layer entirely, this entire classification is so fast. As you can see, we just click and it will just classify the whole thing for us. You can see this is a photograph. I purposely put a photograph inside the bunch. You can see it will be able to identify it's not a painting, it's not a drawing, but it's a photograph. So this is one of the examples that we can make use of with built-in AIs. And so we talk about all the easy stuff we can build with the built-in AIs, but there are also more complex case that you can build with Chrome extensions. Some of you may actually heard of Project Marina. Project Marina is essentially one of the earlier agentic AI. What it does is that it's kind of like autonomously helps you to do stuff, right? And as a matter of fact, Project Marina in the early days when it first launched, it was launched as a Chrome extensions. So what it does is this. Let me show you. So you can see it will just say, you know what, go to the Chrome extension reference documentation, create a list of Chrome extensions APIs that don't have a code example. So what it will do is that it will, is it running? Yeah. Okay, it's running. So it actually formulate a plan on how to do this, what are the things that they need to do, and automatically take control of your browsers and runs, search for these documentations, the Chrome extensions reference documentation. And from there, it also identify which one to click, and then click on the documentations and come to the website, and then it decide, oh, I should go to the reference, and then so forth. And then you will see, oh, these are the API references, and then you'll browse through all of the documentation to find which of the reference doesn't have a code example, right? So with this, it will be, all of this thing happens very complex, but very sure Gemini Nano is unable to help you with this one. But this is where you can come in to use all your cloud computing. In this case, for Project Marina, it actually uses the Google Gemini Pro model on the cloud. So how it works is essentially very simple. You have your Chrome extension working with your web pages, and then it takes a screenshot and the DOM trees and submit to the server, the Marina server. The Marina server process and come up with plans and send it back to your extension. Your extensions, based on the same thing, or instruct the browsers to do whatever they want. For example, click on a link and whatnot. And then this whole process will go on and on and on until the goal is achieved, the goal is completed, right? So with that, its entire thing is happens autonomously. I'm sure you guys heard of one of the hottest topic recently called the Atlas browser. Anyone? Yeah? From ChatGPT? Yes, great. So Atlas browser is essentially a browser with this functionality, right? Then you'll probably be asking, Chrome extension, how do I actually get the extensions to drive the website, the browsers, right? Turn out, if you guys are familiar with Puppeteer is essentially a headless Chrome that you can use it to navigate the website or to do whatever you want to. But it also comes with a driver for Chrome extensions. So that means to say with this Chrome extension, you can use the transport to use the Chrome extension to instruct the browser to do anything that you want to do, right? So with that, you can have a very complex, comprehensive, even entire agentic system built on just the Chrome extension itself. Yeah. So these are really interesting stuff that I like to share with you guys today. I hope it gives you an idea. Chrome extension is not just your extension for you to add blocks. It is great, but it also does a lot of things. So if you're interested to learn about Chrome extension or building AI API, feel free to check out the documentations. And I hope you have new ideas and you can build a great successful startup with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vin.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Vin? Yeah.
Thanks for introducing this feature. It's actually quite impressive. I just wanted to ask, what's the limit of this, of the model, and how does hardware limit the output, right?
Yeah.
Someone who has a very last generation car, they get the same output as someone with a new car.
Yeah, that's a very good question and rightfully the most immediate questions. So whenever users wanted to make use of these features, the browser will check the device capability. So if the device is beneath the capability requirement, it will inform the users that this feature is not available for you. As for lower end devices, that still meets the requirement. The outcome will pretty much be lower speed. So outcome will most likely be the same because you're just going through the same model, through the same thing, slight differences. But I think the most immediate differences you can see is the response speed. As you can see, my response speed just now is kind of fast, right? But I'm actually cheating because I'm on M4 Max, so it's different. But for most users, it's really more than decent because it's really like a 2 gig model. Hope that answers your questions. Thank you.
More questions?
Yes, what's the news on Chrome extension for Android?
I don't represent Google, so I cannot help you to answer that. But my personal opinion is that it will be quite unlikely to happen because having an extension on a already tight browser, it may not offer the best user experience for the users, and also it may also not solve a lot of problems, and it brings in another complication, for example, security, privacy, and all that. So I don't quite think it will happen. But just personally, I don't represent Google. I just work with Google. Yeah. Hi.
Firstly, thank you so much for this
Thank you.
presentation. I have a small question.
Sure.
Nowadays, we can observe a lot of students based on AI tools. So, which is the best way to get to get a brief result answer from AI tools like GeminiAPI.
Sorry, I tried to process the question. So your question is really how to get best result from the AIs?
Yeah, from AI tools, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and GeminiAPI.
Gemini.
Yeah.
AI talks. Sorry, I don't, sorry.
The tools.
The tools.
Yeah, AI tools.
Uh-huh.
So the best way to get a great result
From-
AI tools.
From AI tools.
Yeah, like ChatGPT, GeminiAPI,
Uh-huh.
answer.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I have some problem or text or anything. When I send to ChatGPT or Gemini an example,
Uh-huh.
okay, the best way to the connection between me and the AI, what is it?
I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly, but correct me if I'm wrong. The question is, how do I get the best result out of the AIs when you ask questions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if that's the case, I think that goes back to this prompt engineering topic, which is really, really huge. But I guess the simplest rule of thumb is that be very contextual, give as much context as you can, and another a good example is to provide example of how you want the response to be. And then also be very specific with your instructions. I think the number one way for me when I work with AI is I give a lot of context, like a lot of information that they may or may not necessarily need. Of course, you use a lot of tokens, but we are on plans, so not a problem unless you use API. But generally, provide a lot of context and then provide a lot of example. That will do. I hope that answers your questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for the sharing. I know you have shown that those API is more on the testing process, and you saw one of the tester.
Artisan.
Yeah, that one is browser building of.
It's a website.
And I mean the image you can extract this.
Classification.
Do the description of the image.
Yeah. Yeah, that is from the browser, and it's Chrome extension, correct? Yeah. Yeah, so the question is?
My question is those LLM is also building?
Oh, yes. Every demo I showed just now is based on built-in LLMs, the Gemini Nano 2 gig. The Marina demo that we saw earlier is actually based on cloud LLM, because to process that massive amount of information to formulate complex plan, it requires better model for sure. So I don't think Gemini model, Nano will be capable of producing that kind of output we want to. But for like single image use, for example, classification that we showed just now, extracting date and time, Gemini Nano is much more than enough than we need to. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I have just two questions. The first one is there is an extension that could upgrade and make progress my prompt. I type it can use it to my tools. So if there is an extension that could upgrade and help me to get more specific details about my responses, etc. I don't know if it's possible or not.
So sorry, I'm trying to get your questions. Pardon my comprehensions.
I don't know if there is an extension that could help me upgrade and make progress of my prompt that I could use to make the search, to get better results, etc. This is the first one. And the second one, if I have an application, will it possible not using some open extension from the client side, but from the backend side, from the server side, if is it possible that the server side can make some more complex operation like creating events in Google Calendar, sending mails automatically, depending on text, etc., depending on orders.
I'll come back to the second question because there's a bit, I'm trying to get it. But the first question you mentioned, is there an extension that helps you to improve your prompts when you do, right? Yeah. I don't know if there's one, but I think that you can build one if you want to. It's quite simple because the idea is that you wanted to tell the LLM what is a good prompt, how you want to take in a prompt and then improve and extend it in such a way that it's become a good prompt.
If the person, it will depend on the experience of the person. If the person has a good experience, then he can get more details, etc., etc.
Sure.
So he has good results. But if the person is not from the IT and
Yeah.
want to just have the results,
Yeah.
for example, creating
Correct,
the
right.
website, etc., without making the specification. In that case, we could have bad results. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, yeah.
There is something that could improve the prompt to have no-IT guys to have better results.
Yeah.
as the IT guys.
I don't know if there's such extension, but I think it's a viable product. Maybe not sure it's monetizable, but it's a useful product, I can think. Yeah. In regards to the second question, I really don't get it, but because it's too long, maybe we can do it afterwards in person. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Anyone else? If there's any questions? Oh. Yes.
A bit unrelated, but I'd like to know if Google is going to roll out the Gemini in Chrome for Malaysian users.
Again, sorry, because I don't represent Google, I cannot speak on behalf of Google.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
that.
No, don't worry. And also, I also don't have the answer. So, being a Google developer expert, we have opportunity to basically on a monthly or weekly basis we are connect with Google product teams, right? But a lot of information, sometimes we know we are actually bound by NDA, so a lot of information also I cannot really share. Yeah.
Okay, totally understand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, this is not so much a question, but just about the previous two questions about improving the prompt. I have had some luck instructing the LLMs to do multi-pass analysis. So, like, I just prompted and say, do this analysis in like 5 passes. And then what it does is that it breaks down the problem into like much smaller chunks, and it seems to give more thought into the problem and hallucinates a little bit less.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, multi-pass is definitely helpful in that sense. Also, in each pass, you can also try to focus on different angles of quality, so you probably definitely have a better output from there. Yeah, that's.
So just sharing with everyone.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Any more questions? Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi.
you very much
Yeah.
for the presentation. I would like to know, is this feature available only for general Google Gemini Nano, or can I have an agent, like a custom agent for a specific, like, is it possible for me to have something more specific, trained for what I want to do, that I can call from the extensions?
Yes. Two parts to your questions. The first one is, other than Gemini Nano, you can use any other model you want to, but not locally. But you have to make probably API requests to whatever model that you wanted to use. So it can be OpenAI, it can be Cloud and whatever, right? So you can, but just not locally, because Chrome extension locally it only support Gemini Nano, right? Yeah, about the agent part, can I have multiple agents? So essentially in any kind of agentic environment, all of the agents most of them are from the same foundational model, or sometimes different foundational model, but they're all foundational model. And then you extend them with tools, contexts, and memories, then they work differently. So with that context, when working with built-in AIs, you can create different sessions representing different agents and working with each other. I think you can achieve that as well, but not exactly sure how helpful it can be, but you can experiment it, but you can do that, yes. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.